was kicked out in the backyard with like a water hose growing up. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you'll live, play with some rocks, push your
Yeah.
brother down, whatever.
Yeah. You call Wicksburg a small town in Alabama. What's a small town? What to you?
We don't have a zip code. Wicksburg is zip. Confused Californians a great deal because they're like, why do you have a Newton address if you live in Wicksburg? Like, what is Wicksburg? And I'm like, it's a town. We have a K through 12th school. Like we have a gas station, a drive-in movie theater.
All right, so we are recording. Now, do the last 5 minutes. Come on, go.
Yeah. Welcome, Chelsea. Thank you so much for being here. I think Bill has your bio, and he's going to maybe just read part of that, and we'll introduce you, and then I kind of want to talk about that.
Yes, and because I am not on hillbilly internet right now. I am in the city.
You're in the city for the podcast.
For the podcast. I had to go 30 minutes away to go do this.
Is it like really spotty like mine? I mean, I live in 500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We use like the T-Mobile home internet because that is the only thing I can get.
Oh,
like
wow.
The only thing. Yeah.
Wow.
We don't have anything at all high speed. So
wow. That's
my
crazy.
phone normally runs a lot better than my internet does.
Ours is okay, but every once in a while it will go down because we have, 15 rooms of people trying to stream Hulu.
Yeah.
And then it'll get slow and it'll start buffering, but
yeah, my 14-year-old will be in bed and she'll have Genshin Impact on like one side of her screen and then anime on the other. And I'm like, how are you doing both at one time? Because I can't even walk and chew gum at the same time successfully. So how are you doing this?
I don't know how I know. They have like different they have different evolved brains than us.
They're built different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holly.
Well, just imagine if we would have grown up with, phones and stuff.
I couldn't fathom
day one.
Like I was kicked out in the backyard with like a water hose growing up. Like, you'll live, play with some rocks, push your brother down, whatever.
Yeah. All right. Welcome to the podcast. Our very interesting person for this episode is Chelsea Gieselmann.
Hi.
Chelsea is from Wicksburg, Alabama. Hi.
Mm-hmm.
She's a mom of 2 girls, MJ and Matley. She wears many hats. She's the marketing manager for her local farmers market, a home chef, food critic, food blogger, photographer, and food columnist for the South Mississippi Living magazine.
Mm-hmm.
She is heavily in the local food scene. She photographs and reviews local establishments and has built many amazing relationships with the local chefs and owners. She also runs a 24,000 plus member Wiregrass area restaurant group. Chelsea says if she isn't spending time engulfed in her local food scene, she's more than likely at the beach or on a road trip with her family. I'm going to take it from there, give it to Megan, and you guys can talk about how you met, and we'll get started.
Right.
Awesome.
I am so excited that Chelsea's here.
Yes.
In kind of an unconventional way. We were both selected for a TV show called MasterChef.
Yes.
If anybody watches that show. And would you confirm, would you say that there was 80 of us when we met? Like, how many of us?
We counted. There were 74. We counted. There were 74 of us. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. I knew that there was around 80. And then, so you were in the top 80 and we met, and, there was so many people there, and it was just so crazy that, I remember talking to you a few times, but we never got to hang out and really spend a ton of time together. But ever since MasterChef, I've been following you, and I love your journey, and you have all the dream jobs, like all the dream jobs that I wish that I had. I'm reading your bio and I'm like, how does she have all the dream jobs? And so I want to talk about that too. But yeah, so we met at MasterChef, and can tell us a little bit about your experience with MasterChef, and did you apply? Did they find you? What was that like?
MasterChef actually found me. They recruited me off of Instagram and was like, "Hey, you want to do this?" And I'm like, "Sure, you know, maybe, why not? Let's do it." And we just went from there. It was a really fun journey. I met a lot of new people, awesome people.
Yeah, yeah. Would you say
So they brought all the regions together, because the way I saw the show was they did like the different, south, east, west, whatever.
right?
But they brought you all together at once, and did they do like the different regions at the same time, like simultaneous? How did that work?
Well, whenever I got booted like before the top 40, so I got sent back to Alabama. But
Okay.
in the beginning, this wasn't going to be. I believe they had a different theme, and then all of a sudden they were like, "Hey, let's do this,"
Yes.
and yeah, it was sort of like we all went in and we practiced our cooking and we did our interviews and all that stuff. And then
Mm-hmm.
they're like, okay, south, north,
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
how they did it.
Yeah, it was really interesting because, like, when we got there, we didn't know that we were even competing as regions. We had
No
no
clue.
and we had no clue. I mean, there was a lot of things that I think we were kept in the dark about until the very last second.
Right.
Including like when we were going to be going home,
Yeah.
and so, yeah, but making it to the top 80 is a huge accomplishment. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Having MasterChef find you is huge. And they found, how many followers do you have on Instagram?
I think I only have like 1,500 maybe.
Really?
So, yeah, I don't have a whole lot of followers on Instagram. Like my Facebook is at like almost 3,000, I think.
Yeah.
But my Facebook's more of like the local scene, and then my Instagram is just like, oh, what I throw together at
Right.
home.
Right.
Yeah.
And then your blog, you have a blog as well.
Yeah.
Are you able to tell like how many people visit your blog, or is
Oh,
it?
goodness. I honestly don't look because I don't want to feel the pressure.
Yeah, it's hard on TikTok, stuff like that. I'm constantly looking at like, am I keeping up with what I did last week, or am I
Right.
keeping up with what I did last month? And all those stats are right in your face. So
That would
a blog,
stress me out too much.
yeah, a blog is probably a less stressful way to do it.
Yeah.
Maybe, is
I
it?
do.
Oh,
Most of my traffic, though, is on Facebook. Like, and it's weird because to me, I have such a small following, but at the same time, every post that I make it blows up and I'll
yeah.
get more traffic. But I think it has a lot to do with me also running a huge food group too. So it just goes hand in hand.
Yeah, yeah. I think too, yeah, that it just depends on what platform you're using
Mm-hmm.
and how you're marketing it, and they're all different, but your followers are very active and engaging.
They
And
are.
I that on your posts. So I think I would rather have fewer followers that actually cared about what I was doing
Right.
than a million followers that, sometimes
Don't
like,
do anything.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Or
sure.
do all negative stuff.
Yeah, that too.
Yes. Yeah, or follow you to hate you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
haven't had one of those yet, luckily. So that's a
Oh,
good
you
thing.
will.
Eventually, I
Welcome to
know
the
I
show.
will. But
Yes.
the thing is though, is like I'm in an area where it's a bunch of small towns. Like not like nothing but small towns. So everybody knows everybody. So like if I'm at the farmer's market or if I'm at the grocery store, they're like, "You're Southern Grits Kitchen, aren't you?" And I'm like,
Yes,
"No."
I am.
Yes. I don't it depends on what I'm wearing and if I have a face on or not, whether or not I'm them. Like, but
Right.
it's weird because I get noticed a lot, like a whole lot, and I'm not used to it yet at all.
Oh
So
my gosh. I know. When I was reading your bio too, and just knowing you and watching you on social media, I'm like, this woman is going to be on Food Network someday. She's going to have her own show. I don't know what it's going to be, but I mean, you are you look like an amazing chef. I've never gotten to try your food, which sucks, but
One day.
everything's beautiful, and your blog
Thank
is
you.
beautiful. It's
Thank you.
it's terrifically.
Well, I looked at one of your articles in the magazine,
Mhm.
and I noticed that you not only wrote the article, but you photographed for the article. And that's perfect because you are able to get the shot that you want to take.
Yeah.
And it looked amazing. I'm not a food person per se. Like, I'm not a foodie at all, but it looked really good.
Thanks. I come up with my own dishes, write my own recipes. They're like, okay, Chelsea, this is a theme for the magazine edition this month. This is what we want to go with. And I'm like, okay, bet. So I'll come up with a recipe. Most of the time it's a brand new one because I do not cook with recipes.
Yeah.
It's just not my thing. Like, I season until my ancestors tell me to stop. Like, I don't. So, like, writing a recipe, I'm like, oh, crap. Okay, I added more salt, or okay, I did this or did that. And I'm just like, hopefully I put the right thing down. So, but most of the time my editor will cook what I've put in the magazine, and she's like, it's so good. And I'm like,
oh my
awesome.
God, so you have recipes, so that's good. I find it really challenging to write a recipe as well because I just throw stuff in, and then it's hard if I'm not filming it. I will not remember what went in there, and it's different every time. And, you know, and I think that's why with baking for me, it was easier to go that route because it was easier for me to tell people how to do it. Do you find that?
Yeah, and I think that's the reason why I don't like baking as much. Because if you notice, I don't do a lot of sweets because I don't like the science of it, and I don't like a recipe telling me what to do.
Yeah.
Like, I want to just do my own thing. Like, it's almost like me rebelling against it. But like, my great grandmother didn't really do recipes, and like she just taught me, you know, and my mama just taught me. So that's just how I cook. And if my girls want to learn how to cook, they're going to have to get in the kitchen with me, you know? Yeah. It's just one of those things.
Absolutely. Can you tell us about how you learned how to cook and where that passion came from? And I know you mentioned your grandma.
Yes. It was my mama and my great grandmother. They're the ones that taught me how to cook. Like, I was rolling out biscuit dough and cutting out biscuits with the rim of a mason jar when I was like knee high to a grasshopper. I was like standing on a stool doing it, rolling out dumplings and like
surprisingly, me too.
Really?
You too?
Awesome.
Yeah. I grew up with my grandma, and she was from the South, and I cooked a lot of things with her.
And I'm sure she went through
wrote
the Great
things
Depression
down
and stuff too.
Oh yeah, for sure. And they knew how to make stuff out of nothing.
Nothing.
I mean, a lot of flour and water and an egg or two, you know.
But it didn't taste like it.
And cornstarch, maybe.
Yes.
In some things. Lots of okra. But we made pickles. That was my favorite thing. Dill pickles was my favorite thing in the world to make because I like putting the pickles in the jars because it was hard for her because she was small and older. And you really have to jam them in there.
You do.
But it was fun. And we grew all the ingredients too, so it was fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is really awesome.
But go on, your story's
No, you're fine. You're fine. I love hearing that. No, my great grandmother didn't waste anything. So like she always had like this room that had nothing but jars of stuff. And honestly, you wouldn't know how old some of that stuff was.
Yep.
So when she passed away, it all got chunked. Like, oh my gosh. But she kept everything. And she, like, if you have a whole chicken, you're going to use every single thing on that chicken.
Right.
Like, you're going down to making just broth, you know?
Yeah.
And
make
like,
it
that's exactly.
Yeah.
Like, everything old school is, and if you have any left over, you're going to freeze it or you're going to put it in a jar.
Yeah, my grandma we had a chicken coop in the backyard, and she would go out there and grab a chicken, and we'd eat it.
Yep. That running around like a chicken with your head cut off quote is a real thing.
It's real.
I've known how to clean them since I was like 5, so you know.
Well,
So
cool.
your grandmother taught you to not be wasteful. Would you say that
Yes,
you carried that with you?
I do.
You did.
I even keep the ends to vegetables, and I'll keep like a huge, like a jumbo freezer bag, and I'll
Uh-huh.
just add until it gets full, and then I'll make vegetable broth. I have a
Mm,
14-year-old
mm.
that is obsessed with ramen, so like I keep like pork
Oh,
broth and beef broth and vegetable broths in the freezer so she can just go pull it out and make her bougie 35-cent ramen.
yes.
She just
Yeah.
uses the noodles. Um, so I've taught her how to like spruce it up and do the eggs and add the ginger. She's obsessed with ginger.
Can she
But
do
yeah, we don't waste. Do what?
can she do a jammy egg?
She can. Six
Oh
and a half
my.
minutes. Yep. And making the
Um,
soy eggs and all that too.
I love that. My kids,
Yeah,
all kids are obsessed with ramen right now.
they are.
It's got,
And it's
yeah,
so high in sodium.
but it's so good. I mean,
It
yeah.
is. It is. I made some bougie ramen. I went to Atlanta over the weekend, like for like a last hoorah before school started. And I hadn't cooked in like 4 days. And the moment I woke up, I was like, I'm gonna make some ramen. Why? I don't know. But instead of using the pack, I like went and started bringing out the miso and all this stuff. And my daughter's like, Mom, aren't you tired? And I'm like, I just want to cook. That was one of my issues in California. I was going AWOL because
Yeah.
like we didn't have a microwave in our room. We didn't have a stove,
No.
nothing. And like I ordered like the grocery delivery thing because we
Oh,
don't have that crap here. I had groceries delivered. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. But like
Yeah.
I had like charcuterie stuff delivered. So I'm like
oh,
sitting there writing and working during quarantine and making like little charcuteries on paper plates.
oh my gosh, I love that.
And then like figuring out how to make like ramen with
Yeah.
just the coffee pot. Yep, totally did it. I like was itching to cook because like I cook daily. Like
Yeah. I,
there's barely ever a day that goes by that I don't cook. And it was
yeah.
driving
I,
me insane.
I will tell you, you have not lived until you go a week backpacking with nothing but ramen.
Oh, I'd die.
It's the worst thing ever.
I'd be trying to forge something. Oh, is that mushroom edible? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
like,
Or yeah.
Well,
I need to get creative with this. I can't just do noodles. Are these
yeah,
berries poisonous? Like, it'd be one of them things.
right.
Oh my gosh. So, you're also a food critic.
I am.
What I mean, the dream jobs just keep rolling. If I could, a food critic, like that seems amazing. Do you get to travel? Do you? I mean, do you
I've
get
been
like?
I've been mainly staying local because I do a lot, like I support local business hardcore. Like that's one of my main things. And for a very long time, we didn't have like all of these awesome spots in our area. We just had fast food and like chain restaurants and stuff like that. And I mean, not saying we don't have them because Lord knows Dothan, of all places, is like one of the biggest chain restaurant locations in the like country.
Wait,
And it's
what's it called?
insane. Dothan, Alabama, they literally the percentage between local restaurants and chain is insane. Like we have so
Mm,
many chain. It's insane. But we
Wow.
have all of these awesome spots and that's why Dothan Area Restaurants was started, the group, because we wanted to highlight all of the local restaurants because those are the people that need our money. We
Absolutely.
right.
we keep them afloat. And especially whenever COVID hit and everything else, like people were sinking, losing everything.
Yep.
And like in that group, we only allow recommendations
Mm-hmm.
and positive reviews because we feel that if you post a negative review, you don't realize how detrimental that is to a business.
Especially
Like,
as business. Yes.
right. So a lot of people get upset about it and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, apparently we're doing something right because we have 24K members and it's a
Yeah,
small town area.
that's
So,
huge.
and we tried, I watch it like a hawk. Like, I'm like, if you're going to get rude, oh, that band hammer, I love it. Just to have that little bit of control. I'm like, you know what? You're going to be sassy and a keyboard warrior. Guess what? Ban. Like, boom, you're gone. You're out of here. Deuces. You know. But like me doing the food critic stuff really started from me starting to admin that group. Because I would go in and do photography like for free to some of these restaurants because I knew that they needed it. Because Lord knows not everybody is good with a camera or even a cell phone. So, you know, and I'm like, what are y'all doing? Just let me just make a few dishes. Let me go for it. And then all of a sudden it started going, like I started evolving into reviews, and I had chefs request for me to come to their establishments and to try their things and give them critiques and tell them what they needed to change and what would bring in more business and all this. And
oh my gosh,
here I am.
That's pretty cool.
Beautiful.
It's awesome. It's fun. And I just like, there's just something about like supporting local and being a part of that and that community. It's just amazing because I've met so many amazing people.
Yes.
So,
and
I mean, if we have a choice between local and chain, we always go local.
Oh yeah,
we
without
always
a doubt.
do.
Yes,
just like you said before, they need our money.
Oh yeah. For sure. And especially because I have we have so many awesome chefs that are opening establishments here, and they want connections with farmers and other honey vendors and stuff like that. And boom, here we go. I'm on the board for a farmer's market. So of course I have plenty of contacts. So it's like, I'm like a one-trick pony. Like,
no,
you're not a one-trick pony. You're a multi-trick pony.
Multi-trick, yeah. But I mean, like, I connect a lot of people with each other, and it helps a whole lot. It also helps that they're so supportive of each other, because you'll have one chef at another chef's restaurant one night, and you know, it's awesome.
Too many people in this world view it as me against you.
Yes, I hate that so much.
And it doesn't have to be like that.
No.
And that's based on, like, you know, limited beliefs and scarcity and stuff like that. And, you know, taking the food analogy, you know, you can have a pie, right? We can all share the pie, right? But if I get 2 pieces, that means you only get 1. But the real objective, I think, to making people happy is just make a bigger pie or make a second pie.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to fight over the pieces of pie. Just make more pie.
Exactly.
There's plenty of pie. I love that.
Agree.
Yeah, and I'm sure you can make pie. I know you don't like to bake, but you can make
pie.
If you can make your own recipes, you can follow a recipe. You just may not like it.
Yeah.
Like, I can follow recipes pretty well.
Oh yeah.
But
I can bake.
I can't make stuff up.
I just don't like doing it, so I just say I won't.
And you're at that level where you can say, I won't do that. I'm gonna that's amazing. Oh, so do you bring all of this home? I know you said that you cook every day, and you're probably doing this for your job, and you're at restaurants, and you're blogging, and you're doing all of this, but then do you make a nice fancy dinner for your family at home?
Yeah.
And do you like this for your kids every night?
Yeah, almost nearly every night. Right now, the girls are, before I got here, I made fresh salsa, and I had put a pork loin in the crock pot to make pork tacos like prior, and like had all of it set up for them before I left. And then I had somebody that had requested chicken broth, and I had that going, and I made spring rolls today too. So, you know, I'm always in the kitchen.
That's amazing. I feel like when I make one of those things, I'm like exhausted afterwards. But
it's like an adrenaline thing. I literally did like all of it because I started the broth, then I went to the pork, then I went to the spring rolls, and then like I was monitoring the broth as I was doing the spring rolls. And it's like, I don't know, I have a system. Like in my brain, I know when something's going to be done and when it needs to be done. And, you know.
Yeah, I definitely don't have that.
And when you, and when you love it, like, you know, it doesn't, and this is your job at the same time. And you're not going to feel like you're burning out or working too much, even though you probably have 5 million things on your plate? Do you feel like you work too much?
I do work too much. I already know. But if I didn't, I wouldn't know how to function. So, because I'm so ADHD. So, like, if I'm not doing something, I would go insane, like literally. So,
yeah, same here. I know.
Yeah.
I can relate. So how did you get here? Was this something that you went to school for? You just kind of went into or fell into, no culinary school.
Nope, none whatsoever.
That's amazing.
I went from, I was doing photography, and I think I did what was it? What started it? Oh, I did some photos for a hot dog food truck, and that started it. And yeah, I went and I did some sexy little shots of some hot dogs for a magazine, and that's what started it. And plus, like, I've been a photographer for 11 years, so. And it being such a small area, like, I know so many people. So folks are like, and they all watch me cook. Like, I've always posted my food on Facebook and stuff and made people drool on purpose because I'm just mean. So, but, like, that's what started it. I think it was Say It Hot Dogs, our food truck, that started the whole food review journey.
That's amazing.
Pretty much.
So what photography were you doing? Just
lifestyle. Yeah.
Lifestyle photography.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Newborns, weddings, all that good stuff.
Oh my gosh, that sounds stressful. I like to take pictures, but I don't think I could ever do it professionally because that would really
I got
stress
burnt
me.
out.
Yeah, does it? Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. I quit doing weddings about 3 years ago. Although, I've done a few, and I also have a client that's like, hey, can you come out of retirement in October of next year to come do my son's wedding? And I'm like, I can't say no to you. So, of course, I'm going to do it. But I hate shooting weddings. They're so stressful. So stressful.
I bet.
And talk about critics, right?
Yes. Especially those mothers of the brides. Yeah.
And they don't do that day, so they're just on you probably.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ain't feeling it.
Yeah, that's tough.
So you call Wicksburg a small town in Alabama. What's a small town? What to you?
We don't have a zip code. Wicksburg is zip. Confused Californians a great deal because they're like, why do you have a Newton address if you live in Wicksburg? Like, what is Wicksburg? And I'm like, it's a town. We have a K through 12 school. Like we have a gas station, a drive-in movie theater. We finally got a Dollar General, which where they're not a dollar, there's like every corner of Alabama, there's a Dollar General,
Yeah.
So, but, moving on up in the world, we got a DG. But, like, we don't have like a police station. We have a volunteer fire station. Like, it's one of them things. Like, we live in the sticks.
Yes.
Like, how many people are in Wicksburg?
Oh, goodness. I don't know, because they procreate a lot. Like, it's like rabbits. I don't get it. I'm like 2 and done. And like all these people are like, I got me 7 kids. And I'm like, wow. Like, wow. Where is your sanity? Because mine is non-existent by now. I think maybe there's maybe 1,200 tops. I don't know. We don't have a little estimated thingamabobber thing because we're not an established town either.
So there's no
right.
population, whatever.
Nope.
Because they're not even recognizing you guys. So is there a post office? You have to leave town for the post office?
We have to leave town. I have to drive 20 minutes to go to the post office, which I needed a stamp today, and I was supposed to do that, and I didn't do that. Thank you for reminding me.
Oh my God. So no Amazon Prime out there.
Actually, We do get Amazon Prime. So a town over called Daleville has an Amazon Prime building. So yes, they come to our neck of the woods, and I'm like, what? But yeah, we don't have a post office.
Oh my gosh.
Our school
I grew up in a small town.
Our school is still K through 12. Like, it is not separated. And, I graduated with like 57 kids, and like, I think Matley maybe has 60 or 70 in her grade. And then MJ has like 50 or 60.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow. So with a class that small, I mean, what was high school like? Like, what were you like in high school? Like, were you an art kid in high school? Like, you seemed like you might have been, or?
I wore many hats. Like, in high school, I did, my home ec teacher called me the collage queen, because I would make collages all the time when I was bored, and she wouldn't mess with me because she's like, Chelsea got her work done, and now she doesn't know what to do with her hands, so just let her cut open some magazines, like, and make things. And like, I was the president of the FCCLA.
Okay.
And like, we did a lot of volunteer stuff and all that. And it was really simple. Everybody got along with everybody. Like, I still talk to the majority of the people I went to school with. And some of them have kids that go to Wicksburg. So, or are teachers there.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So
Two of my daughter's teachers last year were my teachers in high school. And I was like, y'all need to retire. Retire now before you get my youngest. Please.
Yes.
Save yourself. Because she's a little boss of the wall.
I went to a high school where the teachers and coaches, some of the teachers and coaches were my mom and uncle and aunts.
Really?
Teachers and coaches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a small town.
It's wild.
How big was the town that you grew up in, Bill?
When I was a kid, it was about 3,000. But they actually were pretty like advanced as far as like they incorporated in a long time ago. So we had a population, in and out, but we had a major highway going through the town, and it was hell getting across the street when you're in high school or grade school because we all walked home.
Mm-hmm.
But you'd have to cross the street on a highway. It's like, this isn't good. It's not safe, but nobody ever got hurt. So,
right.
At least as far as I know.
Frogger. Yay.
But we had a volunteer fire department.
Yeah.
And we did have a police department. But I think when I was a little kid, it might have just been a sheriff's thing. So it's countywide.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have Houston. Yeah.
We have a volunteer fire department, and then we have I think the ambulance, like the what do you call them? The
EMS.
Yeah, there are volunteers as well.
Yeah, ours is too.
Yeah, which I mean, so the mayor was one at one point, and she would come to the motel when stuff was going on.
We don't have a mayor.
No mayor?
We have no mayor. We're like, you know what? We have no chief in all the Indians. Yeah, we don't have a mayor.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That'd be fun to see who'd get voted in for that one in my neck of the woods.
So just you say that the mayor, when I was a little kid, owned the furniture store.
See, the mayor of Dothan, which is the town, it's the biggest town closest to me. But it's not big. Yeah, we have 2 Walmarts in one neighborhood in Dothan. Yeah. So, yeah. But that mayor, I actually have known him since I was little bitty because his whole family owns a construction business. So, everybody knows everybody pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Small towns. Oh, so is this where you think that you'll be? And what's next for you? Are you going to write a book? I see a book in your future.
I am in the process of writing a cookbook, which God forbid, this recipe thing is treacherous. Um,
Yeah.
but I actually was asked to reapply for MasterChef, so I may go to 14. I don't know yet.
Do
To
it.
be determined. But they're in the middle of casting now. But also, if that doesn't pan out, I really want to find an investor to open a restaurant in Wicksburg that will be open like at hours that we need it to be open. Because we have a small mom and pop restaurant, but it's open like 11 to 2. And like, there are no offices in Wicksburg. So who's eating here besides farmers? We need a family spot. And so I want to do elevated Southern food, have like a nice bar in there, not like, throw beer bottles kind of bar, but like a nice, like elevated place that's a little bougier than most of us are in this small town. They're gonna be like, Chelsea, what are you doing? I'm like, bringing in the crowd. That's what we're doing. We're trying to get incorporated here.
Killed it. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's what I want to do, and that's my plan in the future. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Did I just disappear? There, I'm back. My battery. Yeah. Well, yeah. So would you do MasterChef again? Is that something that you're considering?
I did reapply. I did redo my pitch, which Lord knows if I go back, I'm going to have to re-dye my hair again because I did do my pitch with blonde and pink hair. Got rid of it like last week. But if they ask me to, I will go back, I think. Yeah. I don't know.
It was a fun time.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Although we had, our group, 13's group was like almost like a family. Like everybody got along with everybody.
Yes.
Like when I was there. So like I made friends that'll last a lifetime. And it was so awesome being able to like sit around a fire, watch everybody get completely tore up and just talk about food. Especially Tyson. Tyson was hilarious. Like it was great.
Because the first thing I'm used to meeting people, and then the first thing they say to you is, "So what do you do?" And that was not the case.
No,
everybody's questions were about food, and everybody wanted to talk. Everybody was just so passionate about it, and it was such a beautiful experience.
It was like, is this heaven? Like, is this? Oh my gosh! Like, because I'm not used to that.
Yeah, or whatever it was, a Marriott.
Right? The Marriott. And like, it was really awesome because like, I don't have anybody here. Most people are like, Chelsea, how did you even come up with that? Or Chelsea, like, why that? Or that's not my combination. But whenever you're sitting around a bunch of people that are nothing but like total foodies,
yes,
like, I could see doing that, but add this to it or yada yada. It was so great. It was just like, that was my favorite part of it, was spending like the nights around that fire and like just talking about food. It was so awesome.
It was amazing. It was magical. Yeah. I hope you get to do it again. I'll be rooting.
I do too. I'm excited. We shall see. I won't know anything until probably the end of August, I think, is what they're saying.
Well, awesome. And you are working on a book, or is that on the back?
I'm working on it slowly but surely. I'm not really like going full steam ahead on it because I have so many other things I'm doing.
Yeah.
So, but like whenever I do write a recipe, I have like, oh my gosh, I have like 7 different notebooks that I just like and they're like scattered all over the house. And I'm like, this sounds really good. I should write a recipe for that. And like, I'll randomly write it in one notebook and then finish it in another. And I'm just like, Chelsea, what are you doing? This is like, when my great grandmother passed away, I got thousands of recipes written on like index cards or the back of receipts or something like that. Things that she probably never even used.
Right.
But she kept. And that's literally reminds me of like the mumbo jumbo of all my notebooks everywhere.
Yeah.
My poor kids, whenever they go to like try to decipher these things, they're like, wow, mom's really scatterbrained first off. Where's the end of this recipe at? Is it in this book or that book? But I'm working on it though.
So I have an idea for you. Instead of notebooks, write them in your blog.
Oh, well, I mean, I do. Okay. So I write them in my blog, but also at the same time, I want to have enough recipes that aren't on there that I could put into a cookbook. You know?
Yeah.
So I don't want to
just
give it all away.
Don't think that everybody who reads your blog will also buy your book and vice versa.
True.
There's a vast underlap of people who they'll read your blog but they'll never buy your book, or they'll buy your book and never read your blog. It's almost no overlap. I mean, there's a few. By now you have several, maybe dozens or hundreds, maybe thousands of true fans.
Yeah.
But the world is big.
Oh yeah.
The world is really big. So I would put them in my blog, and then, I typically write things like in Word or Google Docs or whatever, and I save them, and then I just copy and paste them into the blog.
That's what I do.
You have all those documents, and then you just jam them together, and there's your book.
See, but there's something about just like writing it out, because I'm so old school. Because when I was growing up, we didn't have like social media and stuff like that until I was like a junior in high school. So before that, like all I did was write, and I loved to write because, like growing up, I wanted to be a journalist, and now here I am writing. And it's really mind blowing to even think about, because I never thought that I would be at this point. But I just love jotting it down. Like there's just something about it. That's just like the equivalent of like listening to an audiobook or reading on a Kindle. I don't enjoy it. I want to have the pages between my fingertips. Like, there's just something nostalgic about it, I think. And it's like, I don't know, because I was a bookworm for the longest time, but also at the same time, the cookbook that I want to write, I don't want it to be just a cookbook. I want it to be written out like I'm talking to you. And like rambling, because all I do is ramble. A lot.
And you represent you.
Yeah.
So have you picked up the Miranda Lambert cookbook?
She cooks.
Yeah.
Is it good?
Yeah.
I'm intrigued. I don't listen to her music, but I'm intrigued.
Basically, what she did was, I mean, she grew up in the South. I don't know what state, but she essentially she grew up with, her mom and her aunts and her grandmas and great grandmas and stuff like that. And their bonding time, like a lot of people, was in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And they tell stories. And so the cookbook's like a book. It's not a recipe list. It's a book.
Yeah. See, that's how I want mine to be. But also, I don't want it to be filtered, because
I have not
very colorful.
read the book. I've just seen, I've seen her on interviews and stuff. And if it's written in any way like her songs are written, because I'm a big fan, it's going to be amazing.
Huh.
She's a great songwriter.
I'm intrigued. See, I didn't know she wrote her own music either. I'm more of a headbanger, so like I don't, I don't do a lot of country music, but I am intrigued. I know that there's a local, well, she's not too local. She's like, I think she lives like 3 hours away. There's an artist that does, she literally draws on paper bags, like grocery bags and stuff. I'll have to send it to you. It is like so beautiful, and I want her to illustrate it.
Oh my gosh.
And do it like that. Because like she'll go in the kitchen with her mom while she's cooking, and her mom is older, and she'll take photographs of like her hands and stuff like that, like working with the dough and all that stuff. And then she'll draw it on like random, like southerny type things, like grocery bags and stuff like that. And it is so beautiful.
I bet.
I figured it would complement my colorful language whenever I go to write mine.
Yeah.
So,
Cool. Very
cool. A disclaimer.
Yeah. So tell everybody where we can find you. Tell us about all the blogs and social media things, and where we can follow you.
You can literally just Southern Grits Kitchen, but the E is not in there. I was
send you an email.
Yeah, I was really I was inebriated whenever I made my name on Instagram, and it just stuck. Because us in Alabama, we're not very literate, so the E is missing, and it just stayed.
Okay.
But Southern Grits Kitchen on literally everything. Like that's what I use for everything.
So you have a Facebook page called that too?
Yep.
Okay.
SOUTHRNGRITSKITCHEN. Yes,
Yeah.
I spelled it. I'm so proud of myself. Disregard me.
Oh my God. You've been fun.
Yes, it was been fun.
Thank you so much for talking to us.
Yes, it was so much fun. Thank y'all for inviting me.
Of course.
Well, thanks for driving 30 minutes to
I
get some good internet.
Just to go anywhere, so
Well, you're like nothing. Megan. Whenever she has to go to the grocery store, it's an hour drive or whatever.
Yeah.
So
I feel that. That's me too. Yeah. Unless I can get it at the DG, which isn't.
We don't even have. Right. We have a, but that's
you have an IGA.
No, we have a truck stop, Flying J.
Oh, a truck stop, Flying J. Oh, okay. Yes, I do know what that is.
Yes.
We have a little produce stand that's on the corner now, but a lot of their produce is like third party, and it's not like the really good quality produce. It's like the bottom of the barrel, and I'm like, during off season I stay away, but during the summer I'm like, okay, it's local. One of those things. But it's good to have if you don't want to drive 20 minutes somewhere.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Is that your drive to the grocery store is about 20 minutes?
It takes me, about that.
Yeah.
Because I have a lead foot and a highway that goes through my town.
Yeah, you have to on these highways where it's 80 miles an hour and there's nothing but cows.
Yes. Fields and cows. We have nothing but fields and cows here.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. And I'm going to go follow all your things that I'm not following yet. Like blog. I hope that Bill does too. And everybody needs to jump on the internet and follow you on Instagram too.
That would be awesome. Thank y'all for having me.
Is your blog at southernkitchen.com?
Southern Grits. It's southerngritskitchen.com. It should be good. I haven't been on it in about 2 weeks. So I've been mainly focusing on Facebook. I don't even know if I want to keep my blog at this point. But
can I ask you one?
Yeah.
What's your specialty? Like if you had to do one dish, like cook for your life, like what would it be?
That is such a terrible question to ask me. Oh gosh. It would probably have to be a ribeye cooked on an iron skillet with rosemary, garlic, honey, compound butter, and do probably cowboy turnips with it. It's almost like a skillet potato, but you use the turnip root instead. Super freaking good. I would probably do that because that's like my go-to meal whenever when you're
stressed.
Yes.
That's amazing. I want to make that.
Yes.
Yes. Is that what you use to baste it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Right.
Pretty good.
All right.
Or something really, really Southern. It all depends on the mood. I cook too much. I can't even answer that question properly.
I like your
So, what does really Southern mean?
Really Southern would be turnip greens, fried cornbread, chicken and dumplings, stuff like that. Like really comforting. Definitely chicken and dumplings. Fried cornbread with everything. That's a staple.
And is that cast iron skillet?
Yes.
Oh.
I cook everything in a cast iron skillet, to be honest with you, because I acquired all of my great grandmother's cast iron stuff. So I literally use all of it. So
yeah.
So
did I.
I love.
What about okra? What's your stance on okra?
I love okra.
Good.
If you get it,
you get to stay.
Oh, red okra is amazing too because like you can roast it. And I have a farmer that grows it, and it's not too slimy. So when you roast it, it's dry enough on the inside where it gives you like a better texture. Oh,
Okay.
So good.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've never heard of.
It's beautiful.
Me either.
It turns like I'll send you a picture. It turns like a purpley green. It doesn't keep the red color
when you cook it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It just will not keep the red color. I want to try to pickle them and see if that might help, but I don't think it will because it's going to be going into hot.
Oh yeah, hot.
Yeah. But it's beautiful, and the texture is just perfect. It's really good for people that have texture issues because green okra is really slimy. So
it's pretty gross if it's not done right.
Correct.
I tried. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I tried.
I like doing pickled okra fried, like whole pickled okra and fry it. Oh,
yum.
With like a hot, spicy, like aioli type dip with it. Oh yes, it's so good.
Okay, I'm starving. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming.
Yes,
and
thank you for
I
having
think this
me.
has been great. I'll get this stuff out. Maybe as early as tomorrow, but probably Friday, and I'll send you links and stuff like that.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for being here. It was so great to talk to you.
Yes, it was fun.
And I really hope you get on. I really do.
I do too. It's like one of those wishy-washy things. Like if I do, I do. If I don't, I don't. It is what it is. I've already had the experience, so
yeah. Kind of how I feel about it too. Yeah. Totally. All right. Well, we will talk to you soon.
All righty. Bye, y'all.
All right. Bye-bye.